And on YouTube, we're going to get straight into it.
I find it absolutely staggering, some of the sheer amount of BS that politicians come out with in response to crises.
I think it's been hyperbolic because I think we're all pretty aware that politicians lie through the back teeth. So I think that's just the introduction to his video. But yeah, none of us are ever really surprised. We're just tired, sick and tired of it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, if you look at Starmer, for example, he waits for the Strait of Hormuz to be effectively moving and then tries to claim that they're sending a mission into the area to enforce it or whatever he said. Again, it amounts to more BS. Now, what?
Yeah, Sam's not pulling any levers. He's not got any say in what's happening over there. Ineffectual.
Concerns me greatly out of all of this is the ability for all of us to heat our homes, the ability for all of us to run our cars, the ability for all of us to eat and drink affordably, because when fuel becomes a scarcity, when heating oil becomes a scarcity, or anything else does for that matter, it pushes the prices of everything up.
Yeah, of course. And for anybody who's maybe not understanding why that occurs, the products and everything need to be moved around, components for it to make it. So not just food, but anything else that you might need. I need a new bog brush. That bog brush has got plastic and bristles from elsewhere, which need transporting to the location to make the bog brush for you to then travel to it and buy it. And now this is all using up fuel, obviously. So if the price of fuel goes up, it affects literally every single part of the economy, pretty much.
It's a given. It's going to happen. You can't help that reality. Now, when politicians don't have any answers, it's quite obvious, really. And when you see what they come out with, I mean, this here from Ursula von der Leyen, you know, the head of the European Union, full of bureaucrats.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Ursula, or this even position that she holds, to be honest. Obviously, nobody in the EU voted for it. No citizens or electorate, the entire EU area voted her in. Worded that incredibly bad, but you know what I meant.
Democrats that I never even voted for are in complete breach of the English constitution, having any dealings with the European Union whatsoever, and definitely not a bit of me. So the Strait of Hormuz, this is Wall Street math, by the way. The Strait of Hormuz is blockaded. Europe's plan. Ursula von der Leyen, the cheapest energy is the one you don't use. Stay home, don't drive, don't use electricity. Well, you can see where that one's heading straight away, can't you?
Yeah. That's trying to head down on these 15-minute cities and all that kind of malarkey, restricting us from travelling around. That's the exact kind of precursor talk that she's trying to lay the groundwork for there.
The EU has no plan, no military to change, do anything, so they're stuck with just monitoring the situation. Let's have a listen.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because of course the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used. We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations. These are some measures, but there are also other measures that we will present, or will be the core of the presentation of the communication next week on the table of the leaders.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it was effectively no answer. It was a thing in two halves, and she should be absolutely decimated for this.
Yeah, it just it seems to me like a load of doublespeak. I don't know. I will admit, I think I'd zoned out in that last 5 seconds or so. I was like, excuse making.
She had
not excuse making, just. Well, I suppose it is excuse making for being ineffectual to be able to do anything about what's occurring globally in this situation with the Strait of Hormuz and Iran and everything. Because EU can't do nothing to Iran.
No answer to the situation, more like, oh, we'll just keep an eye on things. And then in the second half, she's turning round and saying that, let's use this as an excuse to change things, building modernisations and
Yeah, a lot of stuff that you don't really want to do. And I'm not saying that maybe you should put loose and move around as much as possible. But I mean, physically, you probably should do. But I mean, I'm not exercising at the minute, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that regard at this moment in time. But yeah, it seems seems she's between a rock and a hard place, not able to do anything, and trying to again lecture the rest of us, or well, not us because we're not in the EU now, but lecture the common man about how he should be living his life because of decisions essentially because of her friends.
And vehicles and all this kind of stuff. And this is part of the green agenda that's been going on for, well, an awful long time. All, EU-centric. The fact of the matter is, they can't do anything about it. They don't have the answers to give. It's the same in, the British Isles, the United Kingdom. Starmer's coming out with the same utter garbage. And meanwhile, everything is still happening. Now, there's a great comment there. Michael Morgan sounds like the US in the 70s. You, of course, remember the winter of discontent and all the power cuts and everything else.
Well, I'll just say that. I mean, I don't remember it because I wasn't born yet, but I'm well aware of it. I've heard about it. Their generation do like to talk about it a lot. I've seen documentaries on it. I am very aware of it. I'll not get into it for maybe anybody who's not aware of it, though. In this video, you can go look it up yourself. It's I can't be bothered getting into all the ins and outs of why it occurred and the repercussions, etc. Although if you want to know about that, put a comment below and maybe I'll make my own video on it.
I was born in the 70s, but I think I was born in within a year or two of Thatcher actually turning up. Make of that what you will. But this is absolutely ridiculous. What she's basically saying is don't use anything, don't drive, don't turn your heating on, don't do anything. I mean, what part of a modern society is that going to work for? It's not going to work at all, not one iota. And meanwhile, let's have a look at what's going on. This is straight off the BBC, live at time of recording, Saturday morning. Iran closes Strait of Hormuz again over continued US blockade of its ports.
Because the interesting thing here, right, is once in the past, I can't remember exactly when it was, but the USA did obliterate half of Iran's navy, seemingly by accident. They attacked one initial vessel, I think, but then Iran sent more of their naval vessels to intercept the US forces. But by the end of this battle, essentially, half the Iranian navy was gone underwater. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's odd because Trump really could resolve this if he was really heavy-handed, but seems to be not being in favour of blowing away Iran's entire military. Make of that what you will. I mean, I'm not too concerned at the minute. I'd rather keep out of it. That's why I'm quite happy for Great Britain to not be involved in this, even if we're on the receiving end of the old tariffs, not tariffs thing, but the energy being, quite expensive at the minute as a result. So make of that what you will.
State media says. So this is causing absolute bloody chaos. Iran's latest decision to close Strait cast doubt on Trump's claim of imminent deal. It's hard to keep up with what's really happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's latest message issued via state media is that the strait is effectively closed once again because the Americans haven't kept their side of the bargain. By that, Tehran means the US is still blocking ships going to or from Iranian ports. The Iranians are now saying we'll be back to where we were a few days ago, with the strait being under the strict control of the Iranian military. We haven't yet heard a response from the White House that will surely come as Washington, D.C.
And for me, the way this is being handled is just it's allowing Iran undue influence because Iran is able to show that it can stand up to the USA. You know what I mean? It's seemingly successfully for being a thorn in the USA's side, unlike what Venezuela was, which was resolved pretty sharpish. But Iran seems to be a whole different kettle of worms. Kettle of worms?
Wakes up to this
The wrong phrase, but I'm sure you know what I meant.
news. Certainly, though, we're not seeing what President Trump announced just yesterday, that the Strait is completely open and ready for business and full passage. At the same time, he also claimed Iran had already agreed to pretty much all of his demands, including giving up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, something Iran has denied. Trump also suggested a landmark deal with Tehran could be imminent. It doesn't look like it with this latest move by Iran. Still, it's hard to know if the maximalist media messaging on both sides is masking quieter diplomatic progress behind the scenes. There remains some hopes there could be the second round of talks between the two sides following the first marathon session in Pakistan last weekend, which ended.
I mean, it's all well and good, but these peace agreements as such, but these all ceasefires and everything are just, ignored with abandon, to be fair. Like, I know that you've got to be able to negotiate for them. At the same time, they are, laughably ineffectual. Just ignored at a whim by anybody who's sort of involved in it, whether it be the USA or any other smaller power.
With no agreement, as you know. Now, this is the thing with the media messaging, and it's the same old argument, isn't it? We need to know what's really going on. That much is certain. But what effect is this having on everybody? I read a report a day or two ago that they reckon there's only about 6 weeks worth of aviation fuel left within Europe. Whether
It'd be very interesting if that is true. I'll leave my video here for now. If you want to continue with what Andy was saying, I'll the link for his video in the description. But yeah, I think I've got nothing more to add. Just sort of on the opinion at this on the point at this moment. I can barely talk. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.